Welcome back everyone to another Kingdom Hearts video. I'm Vivi and here's my attempt at explaining what the heck is going on in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Now guys, this is how I understand it. I might be completely mistaken, but to me, it doesn't sound crazy, alright? So yesterday, the 5th leader got revealed. 5th and last one, by the way. Now looking at these 5 leaders, this was actually teased a long time ago. Remember this? The art for the 1st anniversary of Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key in Japan? There you go. Now this one is named Strelitzia, which means bird of paradise, which is a flower. Does it have any sort of meaning? There's actually a lot of meanings. Freedom, beauty, I mean, look at her, she's adorable, right? It symbolizes excellence, success. There's a bunch of definition and symbolism and stuff like that. And now the flower, it does have some green in it. Could her eyes represent the green? Who knows? Her hair is reddish. Flower does have some red colors. There's also some purple and blue. Now I don't notice any purple or blue apart from the keyblade, but I mean her name is Strelitzia, bird of paradise, which is a flower. Maybe they decided to implement some of the colors as physical traits. Isn't this a bit far-fetched? But they named her Strelitzia, a name which represents a flower. So I don't know. Now I've noticed something. Each leader, the new ones, they're like named after something particular. Like their names are themed after something. Scald being a goddess, Ephemera being something that doesn't last. As for Blaine, I have absolutely no idea. I know Blaine is a city in Minnesota, but other than that, I have no clue. So if we count the 4 at least, oh, there's Ventus as well, wind. Probably far-fetched, like I said before, but look at the other foretellers. Their names were derived from the 7 deadly sins in Latin. So would it be crazy to say that these new leaders are, while their names are themed after life? I mean, there's a reason for coming up with these names, right? Anyways, before I talk more about this leader, let me explain to you guys the whole idea, the general plot of back cover key Unchained Key / Union Cross. I'll try to explain this briefly. I did make a video in the past, but here goes. The Master of Masters gave Ava another task. Send the dandelions to a realm with no tragedy. He's most likely referring to the Keyblade War. And this scene, guys, it's an extended one from back cover. It was left out for some reason. According to the Master of Masters, Ava was the only hope to light, not expiring. She was given the task to form the dandelions and then choose 5 leaders. Well, actually, the Master of Masters chose those 5 leaders. She had to go find them and recruit them. Now, one of these names was circled in red. Most likely Ventus, seeing as how he's pretty important in the Kingdom Hearts series. Birth by sleep, his heart inside Sora, how Roxas looks like Ventus and all that, and the Master of Masters told Ava that this child would be given the Tome of Prophecy, and he said that it's not dangerous if he's the only one who sees it. As for the others, it's dangerous. So wait, Ventus was supposed to get the Book of Prophecies? Maybe, but he doesn't remember anything. I'm going to assume that it was because of Xehanort. What he did to Ventus, he lost his memories. During that scene in Birth by Sleep, perhaps he remembered his past, but once his darkness was extracted, perhaps his memories got wiped. His memories from the age of fairy tales. Anyways, that's not really the point of the video, but I wanted to point that out. Now the Master of Masters also told Ava to go to the realm with no tragedy. He told her to go to that realm. So Ava went there. Remember that. And then he proceeded by saying you won't need memories of tragedy. Let's go to the scene with Ephemera. He was handed the green book with a bunch of rules in it, which they have to follow. Ava had said memories have to get wiped. She doesn't want the dandelions who will go to that realm to train with sadness. She doesn't want those memories of that tragedy, that annihilation, stopping them from achieving their strength. As for these chosen 5, they're the only ones who would remember the Keyblade War. As for the dandelions, their memories would get wiped. And Ava also said, you guys will re-experience the same events. And we can say this scene was from the real world, like a flashback. Re-experiencing events, what does this remind you of? Hint hint, the Dream Realm, or the Sleeping Realm, call it. These new leaders, the chosen 5, would lead the dandelions into the future. But until then, they would have to train in the Sleeping Realm. And if you've played Dream Drop Distance, a world which is stuck in the realm of sleep is stuck in this endless loop of dreams. Scenes playing over and over of stuff that happened in that world. So to give you guys a summary, Kingdom Hearts Key and Union Cross take place in the Sleeping Realm. As for KH Key, there is a hint. Remember Dark Dark Charity saying see you in another dream, the Charity was aware. So now in Union Cross, we can say it's another loop happening. Same events repeating until a certain point. The players in that realm are illusions. They're just pictures of the world's dream. As for the dandelions, they are real. Same goes for the leaders. And the real Ava is also somewhere in that realm. We can say there's another Ava who's created by the world's dream. Or she could be pretending that all of this is happening for the first time. So the dandelions, whose memories have been wiped, they're re-experiencing the events they experienced in the real world, like Ava said. So notice this, in Union Cross, the Keyblade War still hasn't happened. That's the tragedy they were referring to. Since it hasn't happened, everything is going to plan. Now let's talk more about Strelitzia. Is she a stalker? Many of you might see it that way, but she's too scared. Remember, the realm of sleep, the player is re-experiencing the same events that happened in the real world, and Strelitzia is just sitting there and wondering, what is this player doing? She was sitting there just watching. In this scene, in my opinion, Strelitzia remembers being appointed leader. She remembers the Keyblade War. Union Cross is taking place in the realm of sleep. For 2 years in this realm, she's been leader and has been training. But was she always there watching? There's one scene in particular, the player waiting for ephemera. Now like I said, was she always watching in the real world? Here's what I think. She never knew this player in the real world. No saw her or him. She discovered the player in this new realm. Wondered why this player was waiting at the Fountain Plaza, always waiting for ephemera who never showed up. The player said you seem to see things differently, like someone special. For 2 years, the leaders have been going through this same loop of dreams. For 2 years, we can say Strelitzia has been watching over the player. Not in the real world, in the realm of sleep. Now, since she was in the sleeping realm and was a leader, she knew that the player she was looking at this whole time, he or she had their memories wiped. Perhaps maybe that's why she was too scared to interact with this character. It would ruin her role. Perhaps it's written in the green book that you can't interfere or mention anything from the past. She simply wishes she could talk to the player, but she's too scared to mess up. There is something stopping her, perhaps that green book, whatever is written in that book. She has to follow the rules. As for this scene right here, I'm gonna go on ahead and say it's a flashback to the real world, where she was appointed leader, and she was given the same book as ephemera, with the rules and everything. Next, many of you guys seem to be thinking that Strelitzia is Kairi's grandmother. Oh, it would be a sick plot twist. Sure, okay, it's not impossible. However, their eye color don't match. Sure, we could say Square Enix changed up the models or colors, but they're two different colors. Kairi's grandma has bluish purple eyes. Strelitzia has green. If she were Kairi's grandmother, how is that possible? We're talking about the age of fairy tales, hundreds of years before Birth by Sleep. Here's what I think. By the time Daybreak Town got restored, which pretty much turned into the Keyblade Graveyard, that's what was left of it. And by the way, Ava instructed the leaders to show up at the Keyblade Graveyard once everything was over. Everything perhaps meaning the training in that realm of sleep. Now the dandelions, won't they be shocked to suddenly learn that all of their friends died in the Keyblade War once they exit that realm? Well, like Ava said, they had to train without the memory of the tragedy. So it's gonna be hard, if this theory is true. So, by the time the world got restored, these characters, they ended up in either BBS timeline or years before that. If we're talking about a timeline, like years before Birth by Sleep, we can say Strelitzia became Kairi's grandmother. She aged. Or here's another one. I think Master Ava is Kairi's grandmother. Why? Because, remember this? By Nomura? A fox on Sora's lap. Ava was in that realm, along with the dandelions and the 5 leaders. Where is this Ava? She escaped as well. She told the leaders to show up at the Keyblade Graveyard. She was somewhere during that time. So maybe a time came where she took off her mask and lived her life, and gave up the Keyblade like Yen said, and eventually became a grandma. I mean, Kairi's grandmother seemed to know so much about the war, light versus darkness and everything. Could she be Master Ava? But what about Ventus? If Daybreak Town, well, the Keyblade Graveyard, which is what's left of it, got restored years before Birth by Sleep, how is Ventus still young? Remember, there's the realm of darkness. Something happened, he ended up in that realm and Xehanort found him. By the time he found him, we end up in the Birth by Sleep timeline. Last thing for this video. The recent quest for the Japanese version of Union Cross has a scene at the beach. Could the beach be Destiny Islands? Now look, the Master of Masters said that the world used to be made up of small parallel worlds. Ephemera said that the worlds used to be connected physically. Hey, we had Sora and Riku trying to go to other worlds using a raft. Plus, in this scene, we do notice a boat. The players came with a boat. So I'm guessing that because of the Keyblade War, the worlds split, and that beach in Daybreak Town became Destiny Islands. Since the world split into smaller pieces, all of those small pieces gained their own time flow. This might probably make absolutely no sense, but it's just a little fun theory I wanted to include in the video. But other than that, guys, this is it. I hope you did not get confused, because it is confusing. But do you agree with the whole idea of Kingdom Hearts Key and Union Cross taking place in the realm of sleep, the dandelions re-experiencing events that happened in the past, and players being illusions? Remember, the players who weren't part of the dandelions, they died during the Keyblade War. The only one who survived was us, the player, and that player remembered that scene in the Keyblade graveyard, Ephemera and Scald taking us to the realm with no tragedy. And our Charity is aware that the player keeps remembering what actually happened. We're not supposed to remember the Keyblade War and everything. Maybe that's why Strelitzia finds us special. You know, acting differently. But anyways, that's that. As usual, I've been Vivi, and thanks for watching.